year certainly went very quickly. I'm really pleased with the chance I've had to learn much more about the company, and certainly the more I learn about this organisation, the more excited I am about the potential that it has to offer. It has been a year of highs and lows, and there's been a lot of change both within the organisation and externally within our markets. None of us will ever forget the tragedy associated with the loss of Mr. Eldon Perry and the significant challenges that Mr. Joshua Hayes faced throughout the year. Unquestionably, this has helped contribute to the drive behind why we need to change the safety practices on site and the need to continue to drive to zero harm, where everybody returns home from work to their families safe every day. One of the things I'm really pleased that we've had the opportunity to achieve in 2010 was really trying to understand how we actually motivate the broader organisation. And we've been working on a concept around building communities. We've had some great success in the relationships that we've built with our government partners. We've also been doing a lot of work in our local communities, things such as the $600,000 donation for the CAT scan in Labrador City, the Sontrade campaign that we did in combination with the Satil employees, and many other things such as donations to daycare and other smaller community activities which are really important to our employees. We've also had the opportunity to focus a lot on the leadership component of what building communities look like, and it became very clear that we really need leadership to actually transform this company and pull us into the future in a very strong way. One of the significant highlights through 2010 was the restart of our concentrate expansion project. We announced earlier in the year the Phase 1, the parallel ore delivery system and the fourth autogenous mill, and that work is significantly underway and making great progress. We've also, and I'm very pleased to be able to announce today, that we've had approval for our second phase of our concentrate expansion project, and that will be the addition of some spiral lines and also ball mill 105, which will enhance our magnetite recovery.
We must do everything possible to safely execute these projects and bring them online on schedule and on budget. Our concentrate expansion program is made up of 3 phases. When all of the phases are completed, we will have increased our total concentrate production by 52%.
Well, we've been very fortunate that the markets have been very strong. Unfortunately, internal to the company, we haven't delivered on any of our commitments around production, safety, or our cost performance. And these are areas that we really need to get more focused on so that we can be a much more successful company. A key to that is certainly in making sure that we challenge the things that we've been doing in the past but are really not contributing to our success going forward. Equally, we need to make sure where we are doing things that we build on that success and we reward people and thank people for the great effort that we are doing in actually moving this company forward. Our unions will continue to be a significant part of the success of our company as we go forward. There's many things that we can work on together, and I'm sure through 2011 we'll continue to explore ways we can be collaborative in how we address many of the challenges and opportunities that we have as a company. 2010 was a wonderful year for the financial performance of the company. In large part, that was driven by the shortage in supply of iron ore, and with the large growing demand in Asia, we saw prices that the company hadn't seen historically. However, we need to be very careful that as a commodity business that we remain focused on the cost performance and ensuring that we're incredibly effective in how we deliver each of our tonnes. A lot of that requires the discipline in ensuring that we focus on the production and the costs in this company, of course without compromising the health and safety of our performance.
We are in a cyclical market. When the market goes down, it's the high-cost producer that falls out of the industry. So we need to be able to ensure that the business is robust enough to be able to carry on even at the trough, at the downturn of the market cycle. During the downturn, what we did was we scheduled downtime. And we also, most importantly, I think, is we scheduled a restart so that we were able to adjust our labor force, but we were also able to retain all of our employees. And then when we restarted, we were able to ramp up production much more quickly, much more effectively. Shareholder confidence is really important because it controls our access to capital. IOC needs capital to be able to sustain its equipment, its installed capital base, and it also needs capital to be able to grow and expand the business. How we earn the confidence of the shareholders is actually through delivering on our commitments to the shareholders. And our commitments to the shareholders are things like annual budgets and things like the capital projects where we commit to deliver incremental production, extra production. We need to be able to deliver on those, and once we succeed in delivering on those, the shareholders demonstrate their renewed confidence, their extra confidence. In fact, they'll approve more funds for expansion.
Our objective is to turn IOC into a jewel within the Rio Tinto Group. By a jewel, what we mean is we are a large operation with a long life potential. We're already blessed with an abundance of ore reserves, and what we want to do is we want to capitalize on those ore reserves and become a bigger player in the marketplace.
Certainly the Asian market has been the driving force in the iron ore trade since 2003. Back then the world trade was 400 million tons. By 2010 it had crossed 1 billion tons, and by 2020 we're forecasting 1.8 billion tons. Out of that, China alone will be over 1 billion tons of import. So it's clear that's where the growing market is. That's where IOC needs to be.
We've seen in the course of the past 5 years significant investment in China's infrastructure, developing roads, the bridges, the buildings, the basic fundamentals to a developed nation. We're now seeing the transition into the development of the middle class. The middle class are purchasing washing machines, cars, and many of these products actually need iron ore or steel as part of the products themselves. It's likely we're going to continue to see that development from China as they develop their coastal communities, as they move inland, and certainly beyond that into India and other Asian countries. We've seen historically the IOC business really focused on producing pellets, and that's underwritten the success of IOC in the past. As we look to the Asian markets, we're seeing much more of the concentrate becoming a predominant product for the region. With our expansion program, we're investing more money to actually produce more concentrate. Now that will give us options for the future as we see what the market continues to evolve. So we can produce more concentrate and sell it directly into the Asian markets, or indeed we can create more pellets and sell that into what we think will be a continuously robust market. I think what we see from that is a big change structurally in how prices are being set for the iron ore commodities. We're becoming much more of a commodity, and what that means is that the financial markets are generating the prices that our customers are paying much more than individual negotiations. We do still have important relationships with our customers, and most of that's to do with the pellet premium that we get, a very unique product that IOC has from the Rio Tinto Group.
The advantages that IOC has out in the marketplace are, number one, is high quality products. The marketplace is looking for high iron content, low impurity products. That's what IOC delivers. It has world-class facilities in Labrador City, a wholly owned railroad which helps contains its cost, and lastly it has a world-class port facility in Sept-Îles. Very deep water. IOC has the ability to load the very largest of the vessels, and that's what keeps us competitive on the world trade.
Well, certainly we're seeing a significant change in the face of our competitors. Historically, as we've been focusing on pellets, we've really been competing against some of the very large pellet producers such as Vale and some of those local to IOC. As we move into the global demand for iron ore, we're seeing our competitors come from a much larger base. And delivering into China, we're competing very much against Rio Tinto iron ore out of Australia from the Pilbara and BHP Billiton, who are equally very close to the markets in Asia.
The issue is distance. Vessel transiting IOC to Rotterdam will take approximately 9 days as opposed to 45 to China. Our major competitors out of Australia are reaching China in less than 10 days. So obviously this freight differential needs to be managed very carefully.
We're working very closely with Rio Tinto Marine to ensure that we get competitive freight rates to actually deliver our product from Canada into Asia or China. Much of our focus for 2011 will continue on the momentum that we built throughout 2010. So when we think about health, safety and environment, we'll continue the work we've been doing in the Site Safety Acceleration Program, the Journey to Zero Harm. We'll continue to be focusing on the health of our employees and ensuring that we don't harm them with the conditions that they can be exposed to in the workplace. And on the environment, we need to make sure we minimise our impact on the environment, that we focus on our communities, the economic contribution and the sustainable development more broadly of the organisation.
There's immense pressure on the business as a result of emerging legislation, but more so as a result of the increased stakeholder expectations, both of which have become very stringent over the last decade or so. So this is really the time for us to really do what we say in terms of sustainable development.
In 2010, what we have been able to do with the government of Newfoundland and Labrador, we've been able to strengthen our relationship with them, and by reestablishing the communication channel, and because we believe that it's really important that our relationship with the government is very good for us to pursue our operation, and of course to have their support in all of our expansion programs. We need to really work on specific issues like the renewal of our power agreement. Our goal regarding the Aboriginal communities is really to build and maintain a long-term relationship with them. So during 2011, we are going to work on programs that we believe are going to be beneficial to all of us.
We have several challenges in 2011. I'd probably name 3 of them. The first one is to attract employees from a competitive labor market. The second one actually is our accommodations issues in Labrador City. And the third one actually is a fairly broad one, is to develop a comprehensive plan to engage our employees. The ingredients to engagement from our employees really starts with leadership and clear direction. Once you've got clear direction, there's also an expectation actually from our employees to manage performance. And that happens in 2 ways. Obviously, the positive recognition when we're successful, but also handling underperformance. We have to demonstrate the leadership courage to actually do both. To be an employer of choice, there's a number of things that are important. The first one actually is strong business performance. Employees as well as potential employees will look at that as a very important factor. The second one is sustainable development. Sustainable development around environmental issues, community issues, and actually employee issues, obviously, are very important as an employer of choice. And the third element, which is actually, I would say, almost an outcome of being an employer of choice, is to offer employees what I would call work-family balance.
What I'd like each employee to understand is that they're a key part of the business. What I'm really looking for is for people to come forward, to make sure that we understand the things that are wrong and the things we've got to fix. But I also don't want people to just tell me what's wrong. I want them to help me actually fix what's wrong. The benefits of that are that people actually are able to be involved and make a difference. So it's not about my leadership team telling people what to do. It's about us all working together. We need to get back to basics. We need to start planning things properly. Safety needs to become part of the way we do business. And we also need to make sure that we're concentrating on the health issues that we obviously have. The requirement for safety and health is very, very straightforward and is not negotiable. But at the end of the day, we can talk about it a lot, and my true belief is actions speak louder than words. So I'm really looking for people to take on the challenge and move forward with it.
There's so much that's changing around us that we really need to have a close look at the way in which we're working as an organisation. We should build on the success of some of the things that we're doing, but ensure that we take a critical view of how we can actually improve our business. Challenge some of those assumptions. Each of you have some fantastic ideas on how we can actually improve this business, and I really want to try and harness that, challenge the things that we're doing, and actually take some steps to make a difference. We can only achieve all of these goals if each of us come to work each day and deliver what we say we will. In the small things that we set ourselves goals on each day, whether it be one particular task or a much larger task, each of us need to be contributing positively and continuously improving the way we work to make this a more successful business.